Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob, and welcome back to episode number 27 of the Houston Astros franchise here on MLB The Show 20. We have our final two series before the All-Star break, both series at home. So if you're excited for that, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below for more Astros content and more MLB The Show and franchise content in general. On the mound for the Astros today will be Zack Greinke, 8-6 with a 3.71 ERA. Has struggled a little bit recently. He's looking to rebound against the Phillies. Starting off for the Phillies will be Jean Segura, but let's first take a look at their lineup. Our lineup is usually the same as we've seen. Phillies, they have Jean Segura, Andrew McCutchen, followed by Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, Didi Gregorius, JT Realmuto, Nick Williams, the only hitter above 300 for them, followed by Adam Haseley and second baseman Scott Kingery. Now first, Jean Segura at the plate going up against Zack Greinke. 0-2 count to Segura, and Greinke's going to get him on the slider looking on the outer half of the zone. That's going to bring up Andrew McCutchen with the 0-1 count. He gets a curveball. He's going to line this one into right field, but perfectly played by Reddick to record the second out. Next up, the very powerful Bryce Harper on a 1-2 count, and he's going to lift this one to deep left center, but Springer is going to have enough time to get underneath that one. So that's an easy inning for the Astros. On the mound for the Phillies will be Zach Eflin, 16 starts, 6-6 with a 3.12 ERA. Just kind of doing pretty solid for a back into the rotation pitcher, so can't complain with his production so far. Michael Brantley leading off for the Astros, 1-2 count to him. He's going to chop this one to the first baseman, who fields it and throws it to Eflin, hovering for the first out. That's going to bring up Alex Bregman, 1-2 count to Bregman. He gets a curveball on the outer half of the zone, gets good contact, but is only able to fly it out to Bryce Harper in right field. Next up, Altuve, first pitch to him, and he's going to try to bunt his way on. That is a beautiful bunt, literally right down the line. Zach has no play for that one. Altuve is on first with a bunt base hit. Next up, Jordan Alvarez, he's got an 0-1 count. He's going to shoot this one to the second baseman, Kingery, and Zach's going to cover that one, so moving on his feet there in the first inning. Top four now, Andrew McCutchen leading off for the Phillies. Been a pitcher's deal so far. Both pitchers dialing it in. Both pitchers find their spot, and that's why Zack Greinke getting a slider down in the zone for a strikeout. Next up, Bryce Harper, full count to Bryce Harper. He's going to walk by a pitch in the dirt, not going to give him anything to hit. Rhys Hoskins up next, and Harper's actually going to steal second. Kind of caught Garrett Stubbs off guard, That's Harper's 8th stolen base of the season, but Hoskins is going to strike out on the curveball for the second out. Greinke's 4th strikeout, and then Gregorius up next. He's going to do the exact same thing. Curveball in the dirt gets him, and Greinke strikes out the side. Greinke dealing in there early going. Bottom 5th now, George Springer leading off for the Astros. Zach Eflin pitched very solid so far as well for him. 2-2 count to Springer. He gets a slider, and he's going to push this one right up the zone for a base hit. So a leadoff single for the Astros. Let's see if they can get something going now. That's going to bring up Carlos Correa. 0-2 count to him. He gets a fastball. He's going to slap this one the other way. That one's going to get down. And they're going to test the arm of Harper, and Springer's just going to beat the throw. So now runners on the corners, no out for Reddick. And Reddick's going to take a fastball the other way into left field. So that's going to be the first base run. Josh Reddick draws first blood on the RBI single. So now we have runners on first and second, no outs. Phillies pitching coach is going to come and have a talk with Zach Eflin. Doesn't take him out. And then Gurriel's going to be up next. He's going to ground this one for his 4-6-3 double play. And the runner is going to advance. So now 2 outs, runner on third. As actually have an injury update. Didi Gregorius is complaining about pain in his back, so he's going to have to come out of the game for the Phillies on that double play ball. And they're going to bring in Josh Harrison to play shortstop for the rest of the day, so not a bad backup. And now we go to Garrett Stubbs at the plate. Full count to Stubbs, and he's going to get a fastball and also put this one down the line the other way. 3 opposite field base hits is going to allow the Astros to have 2-run lead. Michael Brantley up next, 1-0 count. He's going to try to go the other way as well, but look at that play. That's going to record the out. Nice play out there for the Phillies to limit the damage. So now we go top 7. Astros still up 2-0. Josh Harrison getting his first at bat on the day. He's hitting 229 on the year. 2-1 count to him, and he's going to line this one into the left field for a leadoff base hit. So Greinke's still on the mound. Greinke's still dealing here. JT Realmuto off next, and he's going to chop this one. Look at that 5-4-3 double play. Greinke is feeling it. Next up, Nick Williams, the best hitter for the Phillies so far this season. And he's going to ground this one right into the shift. Carlos Correa is going to get that one on the right side of the diamond for the third out. So now we're going to go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Edgar Garcia on the mound coming out of relief for the Phillies. He's had 24 appearances, 48 and a third, bottom of the 7th, I'm sorry. Carlos Correa up first. We saw him get that single earlier opposite field to start the rally, and he's going to have a chance to start the rally again. This is a cutter going opposite field, and this one's out of the reach of Harper. And Correa this time is going to have a lead-off double. So now one runner on Joshua Reddick once more up next. 2-1 count to Reddick. He's going to lace a high changeup, but is right at the second baseman Kingery for the first out. Yuli Gurriel up next, 0-1 to him, and he's going to take a cutter perfectly timed in the right center field gap. That one's going to rattle up against the wall. Easy score for Correa, and Gurriel has an RBI double with one out. His 10th RBI of the season. So now Garrett Stubbs up next. He's going to check his swing, but it ain't going to matter. He's going to get called on the changeup. Stubbs does not like that call. Now 2 outs for Brantley. He gets a fastball right down the middle, but can't do anything with it. Just a lazy fly ball to left field. Now we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Alex Bregman leading off, continuing with the Astros, and he pops this one out to the center fielder to begin this inning. And then Altuve up next. He's first pitch swinging on a changeup, but shooting it right past the glove of the first baseman. So now 1 on for the Astros. That means Altuve's up next, or Alvarez is up next. 3-1 count. Perfect fastball right down the middle of the plate. Center fielder can only look up and watch that one fly. That ball is gone. And that's Alvarez's 23rd home run of the season. 430 feet to dead center. And the Astros take a 5-0 lead. Now pulling away from the Phillies here in the second half of the game. The train is chewing as the Astros in the day of Edgar Garcia. David Robertson is going to come out. He's not had a good season so far either. 7.17 ERA through 44 games. He will have to start off his day against George Springer. He's got a 1-2 count. And he's going to lace this one into right field as well for a base hit. So the Astros might not be done here with the run scoring. Carlos Correa up next had a solid day, and he's going to continue his solid day with the base hit up the middle. That's a 3-for-4 day for Correa, and now runners on their corners here with 1 out. Josh Reddick up next, 2-2. He's actually going to have a pitch that gets away from him, and I make the mistake of hitting L1 here, and we're going to get a thrown out at third base for the second out, so that kind of sucks. Bad base running on my part, and then a full count to Reddick. He's going to take a look at a cutter low for strike 3. But that's actually going to do it for this game. Astros win this one 5-0. Just pull away. Greinke had an absolute gem of a performance. Ryan Presley finished it off for the Astros, and he got a 4-out save as Greinke. He went 7 2/3 innings and limited to 0 earned runs. Final score: Astros 5-0 here at 12 hits. The Phillies had 6. And the loss is going to go to Zach, and Zach Greinke is going to get your player of the game. So off to a good start here this home series against Phillies. Hopefully we can win and potentially sweep this series as we go into game 2. Before we get into game 2, we do have some trades as the trade deadline is getting closer and closer. Trade between the Braves and the Reyes, just some more prospects being dealt. But here's Christian Patch. He's going to the Reyes. 70 overall, 8 potential. It's an interesting trade for the Braves, but you got to remember they have Acuna in center field, so they're already locked up in center field. So they don't mind trading a prospect to get a right field prospect. Dylan Cozens, a 61 A potential, who has some experience with the Phillies organization, as well as get a catcher, Ronaldo Hernandez, a 61 A overall potential catcher. And that trade will pay dividends later in the episode, so keep that in mind. The Braves just acquired a prospect catcher. We lose game 2 6-5 to the Phillies. Our bullpen kind of blew this one late. We did have 2 errors, and they were kind of costly. Altuve and Gurriel with the errors, and Peacock and Davinsky did give up the runs, but only one of those 3 was earned. But in game 3, we do win 6-3. Both teams had 7 hits, but we had 6 runs. They had 3. And we had a solid day from Alvarez. He had 2 blasts to continue his hot streak of the long ball. And Urania gets the win in this one after a slow start from McCullers. So another trade goes down in between this series between the Indians and the Royals. So 2 AL Central teams dealing with each other. Very interesting to see The Cleveland Indians are going to pull in Brad Hand, a 74 overall B potential 24-year-old. So Royals, interesting to see them give up on Brad Keller, but they pull in Brad Hand in return, a dominant closer, as the Royals are trying to make a run at the postseason, trying to get back to another World Series title that has eluded them since they won theirs a few years back. They also got Nick Wingren in this trade, a 74 overall B potential, somebody to help beef up their bullpen, as he has had a kind of a rough season in Cleveland. He'll look to turn around in Kansas City. Now we're going to go to the second half of the episode. We have Jose Urquidy going up against Casey Mize and the Detroit Tigers. So we get to see the young stud Casey Mize in this one. Tigers struggling so far in the season, 30-64, one of the worst teams in baseball. But Jose Urquidy has been phenomenal for us. 2.39 ERA through 15 starts. The 5, now number 4 man in the rotation, is solidified himself as a future star for this team. Casey Mize, on the other hand, will be a future star for the Tigers more than likely, but he's had a rough season so far. 4.57 ERA with 8 starts to his name, and he will start off his day. Actually, Cameron Maybin will start off for the Tigers. Let's take a look at their lineup, though. Before then, we have Cameron Maybin, DH Harold Castro, followed by second baseman Jonathan Scope, first baseman CJ Cron, who has kind of struggled so far. But then we have Christian Thornton left, Chad Sadio at third, Jordy Mercer at short, Austin Romine behind the plate, and then Jacoby Jones manning the center field spot. We have the exact same lineup for ours as we did against the Phillies. But Cameron Maybin going to start off for the Tigers. He gets a base hit down the line. That's going to be an easy double, as Brantley cuts that one off and throws offline. Actually, they're going to hold him to a single on that one. My fault. And then Harold Castro's up next. They're actually going to try to get that second base bag, but good throw by Garrett Stubbs guns Maybin down at second base. And then Harold Castro goes down on the two-seamer running away from him. So that's a quick 2 outs for the Tigers. Jonathan Scope up next. He's first pitch swinging, and he's going to lift this one deep to left center, but Brantley has enough time to run this one down for this third out of the inning. So now we go bottom 1 with the Astros. Brantley leading us off. He gets a perfect liner, but it's perfectly lined to the shortstop for the first out. So now Alex Bregman up next. Full count to Alex Bregman. And he's going to take a fastball deep to left field. That ball is no doubter. That ball is gone. Alex solo shot Bregman strikes again. His 19th home run of the season. 370 feet to left field. Cranks this one open for the Astros. And we are off to a 1-0 lead. Alex Bregman just continues to hit solo shots. It's just saying nobody's on base, but we'll take the 1-0 lead here as Jose Altuve up next. He also has a full count, but he's going to look at a fastball instead that he could have probably did some damage with for the second out. Now here comes Yordan Alvarez. 0-1 count to Alvarez. He's going to get a splitter down on the zone. He dribbles this one to the first baseman Crone for the third out of the inning. We're going to go top 3 now. Austin Romine leading off for the Tigers. 2-0-2 so far on the season. Full count to Austin Romine. He's going to take a fastball low for a walk. So now runner on first here. No outs for the Tigers. Jacoby Jones is up next. He's going to lift this one deep to left center field as well. But it looks like Brantley's going to have enough space on the warning track to catch this one for a very loud first out. And I don't know what happened here, but it looks like Austin Romine took a tough break and got hurt. I'm not sure if he slid back into first base, but nonetheless, Austin Romine's going to have to come out of the game, and Jake Rogers is going to fill in behind the plate for Detroit. So now Cameron Maybin, top of the order up. He's going to pop this one to right field. Reddick is going to be able to come in, charge in, and record that second out. So next up is the DH Harold Castro, 1-1 to him. And he's going to line this one up the middle for a base hit. So the Tigers trying to get something going here with a little 2-out rally, which is going to take us to Jonathan Scope, and he's not going to be able to do anything with his first pitch swing as he pops it up to Gurriel in foul territory for the third out. Next up, top 4, we're just going to stay here with the Tigers. CJ Cron up next. He's going to get a slider in the zone, or out of the zone. It's a ball. But now Jose Urquidy is feeling some tightness in his shoulder area. So now Urquidy will have to come out of the game. And we're going to bring in another Jose Urania, the former Marlin acquired via trade recently, to pull in long relief for the Astros. Try to get some solid innings out of him. Same bat against CJ Cron. He's going to go down to the curveball. So Urania comes in and finishes the job against Cron. Christian Thornton up next. He gets a high pitch, but is only able to dribble this one to the shifting Correa for the second out of the inning. Chad Sadio up next, 0-1 to him. And he's going to line this one to Bregman, who plays it on the backhand and gets him out for the third out of the fourth. Now we're going to go bottom 5 with their Astros. Carlos Correa leading off. He walked back in the second. 2-2 count to Correa. And he's going to get a splitter that dribbles straight to the third baseman, Sadio. But Sadio air mails the throw into the dugout. That's an E5 for sure. And now Correa's on second base. And then Josh Reddick up next gets a splitter high, takes it to deep right field. Maben at the wall jumps and is unable to pull the ball in the ballpark. Josh Reddick, a 2-run shot to right field, his 9th home run of the season. And that error proves costly as now the Astros have a 3-0 lead as the train is choo-chooing once more across the tracks. So let's see how the Tigers rebound after that error. We're going to stick with this inning, though. Bottom of the 5th still. Yuli Gurriel is the next batter. And it looks like the Astros not done. He's going to line this one to right center. Good try out there by the center fielder, Jones. But the diving is unable to make the catch. And now Gurriel has a double. Garrett Stubbs up next. He gets a cutter and is able to do something right to the second baseman, however, for the first out. But now runner on third with 1 out, and Brantley's going to bring him in. That's a sac fly to center field. Doesn't get much better than that. And Gurriel will score with ease to make this one a 4-0 game for the Astros. Alex Bregman up next, 1-2 count to Bregman. He's going to get a cutter up, and that ball is no doubter to left field. Alex solo shot Bregman does it twice this game. His 20th home run of the season for number 2. That ball was 350 feet to left field, and Bregman has another solo shot to add to his name. I need somebody to go back and count how many solo shots he's had so far in this series, because it feels like it's been forever. But speaking of forever, that is not going to be Mize's day as Jordan Zimmerman comes in relief. He has 1 in 5 so far on the season with a 4.64 ERA through 27 games. That's not the best stats. And he's going to start off with Altuve, who's going to be first pitch swinging. And he's going to dribble this one up the middle for a base hit. So the Astros not done yet. Alvarez up next. He's first pitch swinging as well, but he's going to lift this one to left center for the third out of the 5th inning. So Astros up 5-0 now. So let's now go back to the top of the 6th, see if the Tigers can have an answer. And Cameron Maben is going to start this one off with a base hit through the gap between first and second, which means Harold Castro is going to be up next, and he's going to walk on the changeup out and away. So that's the first 2 base runners for the Tigers. Jonathan Scope up next. He's going to make it 3 straight base hits, or 3 straight runners on, and that's going to score Cameron Maben. So the Tigers able to score a run here as it's now 5-1. Crone's up next. He's going to get a loud first out of the inning, and they're actually not going to test the arm of Reddick. Probably would have tagged over, but he is going to stay at second base. And then Christian Stewart up next. It's not going to matter if he went or not. That ball is gone. That ball is crushed to right center, and Christian Stewart has his 11th home run of the season, 405 feet. And don't look now, but it's now a 5-4 lead for the Astros. So the Tigers, just like that, have cut into this deficit and made it a game once more. That's going to do it for Jose Urena. He's going to be pulled, and in comes Brad Peacock, who's making his 36th appearance so far of the season. We've seen Brad Peacock, and we've seen him struggle recently. He can't struggle here if he wants to keep this lead for the Astros. And Chad Sadio is going to ground straight to Correa for the second out of the inning. So now 2 outs for the Tigers is going to bring up Jordy Mercer, the former Pittsburgh Pirate. He's going to first pitch swing this one, and Correa is going to not be able to get to this one. A little bloop base hit for Jordy Mercer. So 1 on now with 2 outs. Jake Rogers up next, filling in for catcher, and he's going to walk with a pitch in the dirt. So Peacock having some troubles here, something we've seen too much recently. And then Jacoby Jones is going to hit on the full count, so the runners were going, and 1 runner is going to come around and score as the Springer throw is offline. And we have a tie ball game here. 5 straight runs for the Tigers scored here. Cameron Maben up next. He's going to full count walk. So now bases loaded, 2 outs, as that graphic is wrong. And they're going to bring in Austin Pruitt. Brad Peacock not going to be able to finish the inning. So Pruitt making his 7th appearance of the season. He has a 5.19 ERA. So not much better than Peacock recently. And this is going to be a ground ball, though. Looks like it's going to be the third out, but Altuve tries to flip it to second, and the base runner is safe. So that's going to bring in a run. So now the Tigers have a 6-5 lead. Thankfully, Pruitt gets scoped to strike out. But now the Astros are in the hole. They're going to go bottom 6 to see if they can answer. And Springer's going to be up first. He's going to get a good looking 12-6 curve, but mashes straight into the ground at third base for Sadio. Carlos Correa up next, 2-2 to him, and he's going to get a fastball in line. This one beautifully to left center. That ball's going to get off the wall, but Jacoby Jones went all in for it, and therefore it came up all empty. And Correa is going to have a triple with 1 out, something we haven't seen very often from this team. So now the Astros have a chance to bring him home. Josh Reddick up next. He's going to slap this one on a line, but straight at the third baseman. So now it's up to Gurriel with 2 outs, and he's going to line this one straight off of Zimmerman. Cron has to go get the ball, but nobody's covering the bag, and the Astros tie this one up at 6. So Gurriel scores the RBI. Thankfully, Jordan Zimmerman would be okay. And now Garrett Stubbs up next. He gets a high fastball, but doesn't have the power to stake it out over the wall. So now it's a 6-6 game. Astros get that run back. And now it's bottom 7 with Michael Brantley leading off. And he's going to dribble this one to the second baseman for the first out of the inning. So here comes solo shot Bregman. He has another chance for his third solo shot of the game, but he's going to mash this one straight to the shortstop. It eats him up a little bit, but he's able to recover and get the second out of the inning. So now Jose Altuve up next, and he's going to rocket this one to left field, gets first pitch contact, and is on first with a base hit. So another 2-out rally chance here for the Astros. Alvarez up next. He's also first pitch swinging. He's also bringing this one into the outfield grass. And we have runners now on the corners here. 2 outs for George Springer. Before we get there, they're going to bring in Zach Guiley, who's made 4 appearances so far this year. And his appearances have not looked so good. 18 ERA through 5 innings. So George Springer is his first batter, and he's going to chop this one up the middle for a base hit. So the Astros take the lead here, 7-6. And once more, we have runners on the corners for 2 outs for Carlos Correa. 2-1 count to him. He's going to rocket this one into right field. Unfortunately, Maben unable to get there, and he is going to come into second base. They're going to rule that one a single and then an error on Maben, but it doesn't change the fact that it is an 8-6 ball game. Josh Reddick up next, 3-1 count, but unable to bring in any more runs. Now it's 8-6 Astros, and we're going to take this one to the top of the 9th. Roberto Osuna in for his 23rd save. 26th opportunity, a chance to get his 23rd save. He's going to start off against CJ Cron at the 1-0 count. He's going to dribble this one to Correa, who fields it and records the first out. So next up, Christian Stewart, 1-2 count to him. He's going to line this one through the shift, beats the shift, and the runner is on first. And a tying run at the plate, tying run Chad Sadio, 2-1 to him. And he's going to loft this one into the outfield grass for a base hit. So Tigers not making it easy on the Astros. Tying run now on first base. They're going to bring in a pair of pinch runners, Jacob Robson at second and Victor Reyes at first base for a little bit of speed there on the base pass. But now it's Jordy Mercer at the plate, 2-2 count. He's going to strike out on the changeup down in the zone. And that's going to bring it up to Jake Rogers for the last chance. He's going to chase a slurve. Osuna settles in and gets his 23rd save. Astros come away with a win in this one, 8-6. Wasn't easy, but the Astros show perseverance, show some grit, and win here at home to continue their home stand. 8-6, 8 runs on 11 hits, no errors for your Stros. 6 runs, 13 hits, and 2 errors for the Tigers. Brewer gets the win, Zimmerman gets the loss, Osuna gets the save, and Alex Bregman gets your player of the game. 2 for 5, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs. So a good win all overall for the Astros. Had to go through a lot of pitchers. We'll get an update on Jose Urquidy here in 1 second, as he is only going to miss a couple days, thankfully, with some shoulder tightness. So he'll be back after the All-Star break. So then we're going to get into the second game. We get another trade offer from the Cubs. They want Zach Greinke really badly, and they're willing to offer us Kyle Hendricks, Hernan Perez, and Josh Begley. And there's been some talk maybe of Greinke moving, but I don't want to move him for a pitcher who's in his 30s with a low who's still on contract for 4 years. So we're going to decline that trade. And in Game 2, we beat the Astros 8-1 as we had an explosion of home runs. Look, Brantley, Bregman, Altuve, Alvarez, Diaz, and Reddick all go yard for the Astros, as we had also had a solid performance out of Rogelio. But then the bats just kind of died after that as we lose this one 1-0 in 10 innings, only have 5 hits. Greinke had a solid outing, just did not have any run support. That's going to take us to the All-Star break, and we're actually not going to play the All-Star break in the Home Run Derby. You know, in real life, coronavirus kind of shut down the All-Star game, shut down the Home Run Derby, so I'm going to kind of honor that. So I'm going to skip through the All-Star break. I will show you guys the All-Stars for both leagues, but we're not going to play the All-Star game. But during the break, there were a bunch of trades that we have to cover. 3 on July 13th, and they were some big trades. First off, starting Braves Royals. Braves star shortstop Dansby Swanson and catcher Travis d'Arnaud have been shipped to Kansas City for Roberto Mondesi. Dansby Swanson, can't believe he's going to be in Kansas City. As a guy who's followed the Atlanta Braves in real life, it's going to be weird. You know, I just thought of him as being that superstar shortstop for the Braves. You could say he hasn't lived up to the hype, but maybe a fresh start in Kansas City will be it for him. I remember when I said the Braves required that prospect catcher? Well, that allowed them to move on from Travis d'Arnaud. He was also shipped to Kansas City, and that helped Atlanta land Roberto Mondesi, the star shortstop from the Kansas City Royals, is now an Atlanta Brave. Look at that speed. Look at those stats. 86 overall speed potential, and he's only 24. He only is going to get better. The Braves land themselves a stud as they try to move into the playoff race. Next up, between the Rays and the Pirates, the Rays reacquired Chris Archer from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He hasn't really done so well in Pittsburgh. Tampa Bay's hoping that a return to Tampa will get him back to his old form. And they gave up a couple of prospects, so they're kind of betting big on this. Riley O'Brien, a 65 overall B potential, was shipped to Pittsburgh, as well as Luis Gonzalez, a 63 overall C potential center fielder who has some solid durability. That's the second trade. The third trade involves the Padres and the Twins. The Padres acquire Marwin Gonzalez from the Twins. Marwin Gonzalez just kind of been riding the pine in Minnesota. He's been kind of a bench player. But the Padres, they're going to make him their starting first baseman here for the San Diego squad. And they give up Will Myers with one of their pieces, a 76 overall C potential, the North Carolina native. Has been around in the league, Tampa, San Diego. He'll now be in Minnesota. And the Twins also acquired Drew Pomeranz to beef up their bullpen with a 74 overall C potential. They're trying to keep pace in the AL Central as that division has become a firestorm. Let's take a look at the All-Stars, shall we? For the starting pitchers in the American League, Chris Sale, James Paxton, Justin Verlander got it. Lucas Giolito, as well as Daniel Megden in his amazing stash. Relief pitchers, there's only one, Ryan Brazier of the Boston Red Sox. Closing pitchers, Brandon Workman of the Red Sox as well, Taylor Rogers of the Twins, Liam Hendricks from the Athletics, Jose Leclerc from the Rangers, Osuna from the Astros, and Hansel Robles from the Angels. So 4 out of 5 closers in the AL West made the All-Star game. It's going to be hard to get 9 innings against the AL West. Catchers, Gary Sanchez, Adley Rutschman, the rookie, and Reese McGuire from Toronto. First baseman Jose Abreu and G-Man Choi represent their respective positions. DJ LeMahieu and Cesar Hernandez are your second basemen. Third baseman Alex Bregman did lead the way in votes, followed by Jose Ramirez and Kyle Seager of the Mariners getting a representative. Shortstop Elvis Andrus, Tim Anderson, and Jordy Mercer fill out their spot. Jordy Mercer somehow got in. I guess he needed a Tiger. Left field is going to be J.D. Martinez. Center field is going to be Mike Trout and Mark Canha. Springer did get snubbed, as well as Yordan Alvarez, unfortunately. In right field, Hunter Dozier and Jorge Soler, 2 Kansas City Royals, lead the way, followed by Nelson Cruz of the Twins and Framil Reyes of the Indians for an AL Central sweep. Starting pitchers in the National League, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Chris Paddock, Steven Strasburg, and Mike Foltynewicz round out their class. Actually had 2 relief pitchers, Blake Trinan and Yohan Lopez. So 2 NL West relief pitchers. For closers, Giovanni Callegas of the Cardinals, Hector Neris of the Phillies, Will Smith of the Braves, Kirby Yates of the Padres, and Kenley Jansen of the Dodgers are their closing All-Stars. For catchers, Omar Narvaez of the Brewers, Stephen Vogt of the Diamondbacks, and Wilson Contreras of the Cubs, gets the nod. First baseman will be Paul Goldschmidt, Freddie Freeman of the Braves, and Josh Bell, who could be on the move. He is going to be the biggest name to watch as we approach the deadline. Second baseman are Ozzie Albies and Robinson Cano. Third baseman Justin Turner, Eugenio Suarez, and Brian Anderson of the Marlins getting their nod. Shortstop Trevor Story and Brandon Crawford lead their positions. Two NL West players. Left field will be Juan Soto, the superstar in Washington, followed by Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who was just acquired from the Toronto Blue Jays. Center fielder Cody Bellinger, Lorenzo Cain, and Ronald Acuna Jr. And then they round out in right field with Mookie Betts of the Dodgers and Christian Yelich of the Brewers. So we actually get another trade offer for the Cubs. They still want Greinke. This time they're trying to offer us Yu Darvish and Kyle Schwarber. This was a very interesting trade to look at, but honestly, Yu Darvish really hasn't been himself, and he's on the books for $21 million for the next 4 years, so that will take him to his age 36 year. And for a guy who's already in his mid-B's, I just don't think that's worth it, and we're going to decline this trade from the Cubs. Maybe they'll get Greinke, maybe they won't. It's going to take more than that if they want to acquire him. So a couple more trades going down. Rays Braves make a trade, as well as some prospect trades on the 15th. But the Braves, they move on from Ender Inciarte, another Braves face, but he is also a center fielder, and with the emergence of Ronald Acuna, Ender Inciarte has kind of been expendable, and they get back Taylor Walls, a native of Georgia, homegrown shortstop. Maybe could have got more for Inciarte, but nonetheless, he was traded, and then we're going to end up with another trade between the Twins and the Padres. The Twins acquire another starting pitcher to help beef up their team. So they've already got Pomeranz, they've already got Myers, and now they have Garrett Richards to beef up their rotation. From the Padres, he's had a rough stint in San Diego. He's hoping he can get a fresh start in Minnesota. And they gave up prospect Travis Blankenhorn, a 68 overall B potential, who's pretty solid across the board. So that's going to do it. Very jam-packed episode. Our next episode, we're going to have 2 AL West series, both on the road. So we have to come out of the All-Star break firing if we want to move up in the West and move up in the wild card hunt. So Athletics Rangers up next. We're going to see Daniel Mengden and his amazing stash go up against Justin Verlander, 2 All-Stars going at it. If you're excited for that, make sure you like and subscribe down below. And if you enjoyed this episode, hey, like and subscribe as well for that. Leave any comments you guys have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. This is Mr. Rob, and I'm saying class is dismissed.